What is correct, and everyone? This is Renazli coming back at you with another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we are going to be talking about what the best designed characters are in Star Rail. We'll be going by element, and I think that I won't be including free-to-play options. So, like, specifically, like the Trailblazer, I won't be counting. Maybe we'll count free 5 stars, we'll see. I think I'm also going to split it up into who's the best DPS for that role and then who's the best support or sustain. I'll also try and take into account how healthy their character design is for the game. So like Hyacine right here, much as she's got really good freaking design, like her looks and her gameplay is just amazing. I don't know how healthy her existence in the game is because you compare all their sustains to her and it's not really like good. So without further ado, we'll get into this, but please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Alphabetically, we'll go ice first. So the first one would be Cyrene. That'll be under Remembrance. I think she's a really good design. I mean, character design wise, right? Obviously I can try and do this as a separate video, but I'm trying to somewhat combine them. Cyrene has an amazing character design. I mean, you guys see it, like the dress on the inside has like a constellations, got the whole Amphorius thing going on with her bracelet right here, got all the hearts showing that she likes love and all that stuff, got the wreath here as well, it's in her hair. Got the different highlights in her hair, which I think is really cool. And she has her bow, of course, which she did learn from some of Trailblazer's friends. So I think she's an amazing design. And then character-wise, right? Like in the game as a playable character, I think she honestly does have a good design that's, I don't know if it's super healthy for the game per se, but the way it unlocks Maeda's inner power makes me think that it's actually a good thing for the game for her to exist, because let's just go over to right here, right? She supports every single Chrysosaur in the game uniquely. One thing I don't love about Cyrene is that she's not as universal as Tribi, but I understand that wasn't really her point for existing. However, the fact that she supports all of the carries as well as she does, so like Maeda, Phynon, Castoris, Anaxa can go in here as well, Blaya, you get the point. The only one she doesn't really support super well is Hycelin's, but once you get a few Eidolons on her, it changes and she ends up being a really good support. Because of the whole Kafka situation with Hycelin's, he kind of wants as many Chrysosairs / Remembrance as he can get in there. She's a great character. I hesitate to say that she's bad for the game. I just wish she was more universal. She's got decent universal usage, but the problem is if you want her ult in any time before the 35th millionth cycle, then you might want to get a few Eidolons for her. She's a little too based around you wanting to get her to her second Eidolon, which I do not like, because you need the 12 recollection points for free. So there's that, but if you're using her outside of the Chrysosairs anyway, you're probably not going to see as much use with her. But considering she was what you can call the penultimate character for Amphorius, I feel like she should have had more universal applications like Tribi. However, she turned out well. If you don't, she's pretty simple. You have a Chrysosaur carry, you want them to last longer, you get her. You don't have one, you don't care about the Chrysosairs, don't pull her. Your account's not going to be hurting as a result. But if you have one or multiple Chrysosairs carries, I would say even having the one makes it worth it. So like specifically Castoris is really good. I've talked about Maeda as well. Phynon she's good with Phynon. Maybe not the best ever, but she's a good option. She also frees up someone like Rija for, let's say you're running an Axa by himself as a carry, right? You can put Cyrene and Sunday on Finon's team, and then you can find a spot to put Sarija with an Axa. So this, her also, you know, letting you go and use different supports on other teams is a great boon, and I think it's a good idea that she is in the game. And obviously, like I said, I love her character design. I think all of the love and euphorious things in her design are very good. Next, alphabetically, is Evernight. I think Evernight, honestly, I like her a lot character design wise. It's interesting she has like the whole white part on her arm, maybe showing that March 7th's still in there somewhere, and then the rest is black. I like the implications that she's kind of supposed to be something like Bates John Alter, but she's something a little different, of course. I like the mysterious look that she has going on as well, because I don't, correct me if I'm crazy, but I feel like we still don't 100% know exactly who Evernight is. Like, we know kind of, but I don't remember if it was ever explicitly said. Anywho, design wise for in game, I think she's really, really, really good. She's also the case, right? You don't have Remembrance, you don't pull her, but that's kind of just how these teams go, right? If you don't have that specific team that she wants to be on and you don't want to build it, you just don't get the character. Pulling Evernight is going to be a pretty sizable upgrade to your Remembrance team though, so that's another really cool thing. And I honestly, I might put her as the best DPS part here, because she's intended as a sub DPS, right? Much as Anaxa was intended as a sub DPS for Herta. But the both of them are allowed to be a main carry given enough support or whatever you want to say. But the fact that they can even be a main carry when they were supposed to be a sub DPS in the first place, I think that's gotta contend for some of the best designs in this game overall. Character, you know, design wise for, what was it? The character kit, I'll say. The fact that you can run them in both spots and they do amazing in both spots is just such a good boon. And then if you have Evernight, like I said, you don't even need Casteries anymore, to be honest. Because if you don't like her, but you still want to run Remembrance, you just get Evernight as your main carry. Boom, there you go. And then the characters that you would have used on Casteries, you just put with Evernight, and then she'll do really well. So that's a big, big boon for Evernight. Next, we have... Next, we have Gepard. Yeah, we're not going to be talking about this guy for long. He's a version 1 character. He's here. You can use him if you want, I guess. Good. Don't even put that thought into my brain, bro. There he is. Yeah, Lord of Herta would technically be next after this, but I'm not trying to do a repeat of the video series that we did a little while back. Like, I guess I'll... Maybe in the future ones, I just won't talk about anyone that's not immediately in contention, just to make it a little more concise. But next, in terms of best designs, I mean, we got Madame Herta. We know she's a peerless gem. She is a genius in all of the such. I really, 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 really like the way she is designed with the whole lock to her heart. Well, maybe not to her heart, but there's like the whole lock right here and the key. I always like the big freaking witch hats, and I mean, she's pretty much supposed to be the design language of a witch, and I'm a big fan of that. Something that's also interesting is that she has like the big right boot, and then the left boot is not as large. I really like the whole lock and key design she's got going on. You can kind of see it in the back right here. Got the whole hand holding her back. I'm not sure what that is, but it's there. And I mess with her design quite a bit. And then if we're talking about kit design, honestly, she's one of the characters where you get her going, and I'm sure this is gonna be the case for still quite a while. You can clear pure fiction pretty easily with her, especially if you have an Axa who literally just infuses every possible weakness. There's gonna be a point where Madame Herta is allowed to just slap the toughness bar of the enemy, and that just is really good. Even if not, like, just her existence just makes your pure fiction run so much better, so much cleaner. I'm not really sure there's a reason not to have hers. I'm sure it's not going to be as easy for her to do pure fiction once version 4 comes out, but guess what? You can just invest in her. You can get a few Eidolons. I will be doing this when she comes back. I'll probably get an Eidolon or two. I want to E6 her though. So we'll have a quite strong Madame Herta eventually. I think she doesn't get attention for her best design because if you can get one character and then for the game mode and you just really don't need to worry about one half of that game mode because you have this character, I think that's a really good thing. I think it's great. There's also the combination of Little Herta and Madame Herta. So if it's an Ice Week pure fiction, you just use them too, and then you have a free-to-play option. That's another thing. She's very good for free-to-play people because of that. I wasn't trying to talk about the whole free-to-play options as much, but my main thing with that is not including the Trailblazer, because as we know, Remembrance Trailblazer is insane. She's free, but I don't want to account for that because yes, they're an amazing boon, but honestly, just because they're free, I can't really... It feels like a cop-out if I say that they have the best design because they're free. That might be the case for Remembrance main character, but like I said, I want to keep this more like you have to pull for this character. This is who is really, really good. Yeah, Jingliu, March 7th, Preservation, and then Misha. I mean, they're all here. They're not really in contention for best design though. I guess we'll move over to Jingliu just so we can take a look at what she looks like. I do enjoy her character design a lot. Kit-wise, I mean, she did get buffed with a Nova Flare, but she's not as good as per se Blade. But I enjoy her design and her looks a lot. I like the whole thing right here with the moon, and then it's... I don't know if it wants to show it. Kind of like the phases of the moon, since she has the whole moon thing in her kit. Yeah, see, now it's the new moon, and then it goes from crescent. I don't know why it's going diagonally, but anyway. She's not in contention, though. Again, I didn't want to talk about free options, but Ruan Mei is here. There she is. I like her design. Unfortunately, I honestly don't even think she's in contention for best kit, though, because even if we talked about this a while back when she was way better and more meta relevant, yeah, she was free, but her animations don't really show that she's like her design and her kit don't really mesh. Like, she pretty much just has that instrument that she plays, and I'm sorry, that's not really showing off Ruan Mei's personality very well when she's just playing the freaking instrument the whole time. It's cool, but I don't think it meshes with her personality very much. Because I don't know about you guys, I don't remember Ruan Mei really playing an instrument or that being mentioned in the story. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't remember that being a thing. So the fact that she just has that, it kind of clashes a little bit with her personality. And like, if she was known as a musician, okay, but that's not what we know her for. We know her for being a genius. Oh, we're actually, yeah. Yeah, Yanqing. Yikes. I guess we will end with the Trailblazer. Oh, that's cool. You can see them like this now. Like I said, I mean, design-wise, I can't really talk about the character looks because let's be honest, they don't really look any different planet to planet. That will change with version 4 because we're getting some nice new outfits for the character, the Trailblazer, but I can't count that right now because we're not in Plan Arcadia yet. So for that, kit-wise though, oh my goodness, they are a freaking menace as Remembrance, dude. They are insane. Kind of crazy they made them free. Like, the only reason that we'll be keeping Trailblazer with our Casteries team is because they're more built than, obviously, Evernight, because we don't have one. Evernight's coming in version 4.0. He's rerunning. I don't know why they're choosing her and not Boot Hill, but neither here nor there. I probably won't be able to pick her up an Evernight, which is a really, really big shame, but, I mean, what am I gonna do, you know? Kind of sucks, but that doesn't even matter that much because we get to charge pretty much equally. I mean, I don't know about the speed of Evernight versus the RMC speed, but both of them have a memo sprite. You're not really going to be charging quote-unquote slower unless you're talking about speed tuning, in which case, okay, maybe Evernight will be faster. I'm not really sure. I don't have one to really look and see. But you're not really going to be slower. Like, I'll just back out for a second. This is, you know, right here. This is our Remembrance core, right? And main character is just such a big boon. And then you have the fact that once you're finished with the 0.7 story, you have that enhanced basic. So then it feeds into this core being more and more efficient. So they're just a great option. Obviously, them being free is also really good, but the fact that they give true damage, Mem can action advance 100%, then Cyrene goes in this team, and then it gives every single character their ult, and then she gets to do another one to buff 2 characters. It's just really well-oiled team. I'm sure that was on purpose, but the fact that you don't even need to use RMC in the Remembrance core, you can just use her as a general support and she still works amazingly well, is such a big thing, and I felt like I had to at least talk about that. But that is, honestly, in terms of like winners, I think I'm gonna give the DPS to Evernight. Because as much as I like the idea of Madame Herta, right, and she does have some free-to-play options, like I said, I'm not trying to account for that. Madame Herta isn't as applicable to endgame as Evernight is. And then you also have the fact that Evernight can be sub-DPS or main DPS. So you can either, so we can replace RMC with Evernight. And then the team is just nutty. I mean, this team's nutty too, right? The one we have going on, but the fact that Evernight can do both sub and main DPS is just too, I feel like that means way too much for us to not put her in that DPS slot for the best. And then we don't have an ice sustain, so there's not going to be one there. Okay, so how this is going to be structured is we're going to have the best DPS for the role and then the best support or sustain for the role. If I had to give an overall, then we can do so. But I feel like it's better this way. That way we have like, okay, this is the best carry, because generally speaking, most people are going to rank these supports as better because it can be used, generally speaking, in more teams. That's not always the case, but generally speaking, that can be true. But like I said, I want to keep it in both slots. That way they're not stepping on the toes of each other. Because honestly, if I had to just do one overall right now, I'm probably going to say Cyrene, just because of the fact that she can be used on all the Chrysosairs teams. And that's, I guess we'll take a peek again real quick to see just how many carries she can be a support for. Just so I can, you know, showcase the point a little more. So you have Cyrene, right? All of us that are in your My Day team is way better. Flying on, maybe you're not optimal, but you get a lot of value with just having her on the team. Like I said, it can free up your Syringa for a different team as well. But she supports all these characters right here. But in terms of carries, right? You have My Day, you have Finon, you have Castries, that's 3 already. Anax is 4. If you want to have him as a main carry, it works. 5 is Aglaya. Isolin's with investment would be 6. Without investment, 5. And then Evernight would be 5 if you don't count investments. And then if you did count investments, it'd be... Oh, hold on. Can't count right now. Okay, so Evernight would be the 6th one. And then if you count with investment, then Hyslins would be 7th. That's 7 That's 7 potential carries that you can get up and going. Maybe she's not optimal for every single one of them, but she is for most of them. Like everyone that's not Hyslins and Finon, you could honestly say you could have a point where you say she's optimal. You could. But the fact that you can have 7 potential teams that are just really good, if not amazing, just because you have Cyrene, that does mean something. So I think she's going to take our support slot. If you disagree, of course, let me know in the comments down below. I'll probably put in the description who it is. Like, I'll put all the character options in there, and then you guys can let me know who you think might be the actual best in each role. For our test of purposes, we are going to put Evernight as the best DPS, and then support/sustain, Cyrene. I'll keep doing these for each element until we finish. I'm kind of just trying to not bide my time per se, but I want to upload some Star Rail up until Lane Arcadia comes out. So I figure what better time to do that than just talk about Star Rail right now. But if you enjoyed, do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and oh boy howdy are we going to be tapping into Plane Arcadia, so stay tuned for that. We will be diving in quite hard. And I will catch you all in the next video. Laters.